Oh lord, it's that time again for Final Fantasy XIV. A new patch on the horizon, and renewed interest with it. You should probably put the word interest in parentheses. I can't remember the last time I saw this little hype for a new patch to drop. I am sure there are plenty of people looking forward to the new Alliance raid, or the cosmic exploration. But let's be real folks, Dawntrail has done one hell of a job souring the experience for many of us. The post 7.0 content hasn't been pulling through, and now this patch is meant to be the final piece of the Dawntrail storyline. And frankly, we still have a lot of problems to cover.
Round and round we go.
Rather than make a long and comprehensive video, I figured we'd touch base on a few of the most important subjects this new patch needs to tackle. If not to save the story, then at least to mend it from being a complete disaster. Now, just to be clear, this video isn't about the player drop-off that some folks have been talking about recently. I covered that one several months ago, and the reasons I spoke about back then are the same problems we have going on right now. Also, like the title says, this isn't a breakdown of the trailer. I'm not making theories, I'm just touching base on outstanding narrative points Square needs to cover. Starting firstly with the current arc's antagonist, Calyx. This perpetual anemic patient was shoehorned into the last patch as the behind-the-scenes villain pulling the strings. And honestly, he was underwhelming. He wasn't that threatening and didn't leave much of an impact. Real Sphene was shocked by his appearance, but same as a trial boss, we don't see anything of their past interaction, so any emotional value is non-existent. It's difficult to get invested when the game just expects us to be upset or concerned when the characters on screen are. I mean, did these two know each other personally? Was he a historical figure from before her era? Both of these directions change the dynamic. And right now, we don't have a dynamic at all. Nothing but a quick data card on who he is, and that was it. There's nothing to look forward to except for his diabolical plan, which consists of mind-screwing people and terrorizing them with the most underwhelming robot army I've ever seen. These things have attacked Alexandria twice already, and despite the developers trying their damnedest, they're not intimidating. Tural pushed them back in a single cutscene. That was a terrible decision, and now the stakes meant to draw our attention are flimsy at best. Even Golbez and the post-Endwalker patches had more personality than this. And that story didn't leave with the best impression either. Dawntrail objectively has less than that. Why would any other player base want to waste their time on this giant fat slab of nothing? These are problems 7.3 needs to address in some way. Of course, Sphene and Calyx do not need to have a connection to be intriguing. We do need more than the meager shock value that the founder of Preservation, the organization responsible for much of the technology Alexandria employs, is still alive and operating from the shadows. With all the mess left by the first fake Sphene and Zoralja, Square needed a new antagonist and quick. But I'm not sure Calyx is the guy we're looking for. He clearly wants the interdimensional key. He reiterated as much in the 7.3 trailer. The key he needs back after Zoralja lost it to us. Zoralja using the tech and army of robots that were secretly under Calyx's control the entire time. Calyx was in control of Zoral the entire time. So why did he let this steroidal Daddy Issues Anonymous founder keep hold of the key while leading an army and picking direct fights with people like us? Aware of our strength or not, that's mighty reckless on Calyx's part. They keep trying to paint him as this enigmatic genius, but so far, he's more of an imbecile. If the conflict revolves around the key, and there's no reason for him to have lost the key, then the conflict doesn't make a lick of sense. Even less so, considering he was presumably in control of the fake Sphene from 7.0 as well. Now, maybe he wasn't paying attention. Maybe he underestimated us, hence the need to analyze our abilities in 7.2. Maybe he was busy studying a thesaurus, looking for new fancy words to string into his monologues. What matters is, he's coming across like a moron while the game tries to tell us he's brilliant. This is something 7.3 will need to mend as well if we're going to take these story patches seriously. And since 7.0 is already a narrative clown show, they don't need more of that right now. Take his motivation, this constant talk of evolution and what that means from his perspective. Also, what was the point of the endless and living memory then? It consumed so much of their limited resources. To what end though? These are other questions that have been lingering, and I'm skeptical we're going to get clarification on most of it.
That's totally lame. And not at all surprising. Which is also totally lame.
Second point of contention, the real Sphene. Now, relax everybody, I'm not here to bash her. She was quite delightful in the last patch. Her story though leaves something to be desired, mainly, why was she awakened from her stasis now of all times? And I know I can't be the only one concerned that it's around the same time Calyx revealed himself that she too was brought back. And if it turns out he just wasn't paying attention, letting us shut down living memory and releasing her from stasis, that's another mark on Calyx's ineptitude. We have seen little side effect from her time in stasis. Sphene doesn't appear ill, not all that weakened by her long sleep. Things you might expect from someone who just spent 400 years being the most isolated hermit known to humanity. To clarify, this isn't something they need to pursue to make Sphene interesting or valuable. She's made clear her plan to study the arcane. We see her with a tome in the trailer artwork. That'll be a fun angle to pursue, but these are questions worth asking, concerns worth addressing, especially since our beloved Scions, you know, the superhero team hailing from a nation of bookworms, don't seem to be asking these rather important questions themselves. Why is nobody investigating Sphene's awakening coinciding with Calyx making his move? Why is it after we got hit by a judgment bolt right in the ass that we decided to assault the enemy stronghold with no backup? The Scions are behaving like short bus recipients lately, dumbing themselves down to make the current dilemma they're facing more of a challenge. It reminds me of Kenpachi Zaraki from Bleach. The guy deliberately handicaps himself to make his battles more entertaining, but that's his goal, to enjoy the fight. The Scions are a little more benevolent than that, one would imagine, so deliberately acting this stupid doesn't make sense for them. Had we simply brought two teams into Preservation HQ, the dungeon and subsequent boss fight would have been far less of an ordeal. Maybe we would have even captured Calyx, surprised and unaware in the process, and ended this mess early. Calyx is acting stupid. Now our main cast is acting stupid to permit the stupid villain to do his stupid villain thing. Dawntrail was already fraught with senseless and annoying characters doing demented and annoying things, and Post 7.0 has yet to improve on this. I understand this is meant to be the conclusion to Dawntrail, as if there's anything worth wrapping up, to be frank. All I'm saying is, if we're going to give it more attention, let's make it worthwhile. So far, Calyx's role in the story feels more akin to damage control than anything else. Sphene and Zero's behavior was counterproductive to their goals. We've multiple videos covering Dawntrail's atrocious writing. Time and time again, they screwed themselves out of easy wins they had essentially already secured. Adding a puppeteer may explain why they were like this, but only if the manipulator himself can be logically followed, and we haven't seen that yet. This is their last chance to fix it.
Quit fucking it up!
Alright, last dilemma. The return of the furry twat.
That's rude.
Hey, I'm limiting the insult to once per video. I am a complete gentleman. This channel has never held back its opinions about Wuk Lamat. Her dominance in the narrative was overbearing, obnoxious, and ultimately wasteful when there were far more fascinating characters, if they only got a fraction of the screen time she did. Her character never really changed from the start of Dawntrail to the end. Nah, seriously, Wuk at the start believes in peace, happiness, and food. Wuk at the end, peace, happiness, and food. Also smiles, because smiles equals happy, apparently. We're promoting kindergarten ethics, aren't we? I mean, just look at our buddy Xenos. He smiled a whole bunch. Behold, people, the pinnacle of happiness. Wuk wishes she could get on his level, because that's the philosophy she's beholden to.
I don't even know how that works.
The reason I'm bringing this up isn't to bash her for the hell of it. Not that it isn't fun, mind you. The point is, the 7.3 trailer makes it sound as though Wuk is going to be more center focus again. She shows up in many of the cutscenes and has a very loud declaration.
I gave her my word! I promised I would protect her people!
Oh gee whiz guys, Wuk is barking about protecting a people of some kind. What monumental character growth. The only thing missing is her chowing down on some tacos, and that'll be 100% of her personality. Real talk, one of the few praises I had for 7.2 was a noticeable lack of Wuk's involvement. It showed awareness on the developer's part, finally pulling her back when the fanbase made clear how unpopular she was. Wuk is truly one of the worst written characters I have ever seen.
We don't get paid enough to do stuff.
However, there's another problem here. Beyond her sheer existence, 7.0 spent a lot of time developing Wuk's bond with the first Sphene, the fake Sphene. It's meant to be an emotional confrontation when Wuk interrupts our boss fight to hold her off, and convincing her to let go of everything. After we erased the very people she was trying to save, I might add. That was portrayed as a culmination of both their character arcs. Now, the real Queen Sphene has appeared, and Wuk didn't try a single time to connect with or befriend her in any way. This was very noticeable in 7.2. It's inconsistent with everything else Wuk has done up to that point, and while I was absolutely elated to see less of her, very happy, good decision, it is a contradiction in the narrative. I'm a story critic. Whether I like a direction or not, I do need to call out the inconsistencies when I see them. Which leads back to the trailer. If Wuk is being put back center stage to flex that connection with the first Sphene, it could absolutely demolish any investment left in Dawntrail. Folks, nobody likes Wuk Lamat. Her character is obnoxious. Her voice acting is obnoxious. I'm not even sorry about that. They were terrible. At normal tempo, they weren't too bad, but the second they raised their voice or put any strain on it at all, well, let's just say that the Adam's apple doesn't fall far from the vocal cord. Forcing Wuk into the MSQ once more will backfire, and while not having her around so much is an objective improvement, it also serves to further invalidate 7.0 MSQ. Either way, Square is bound to lose. We won't know until August 5th what direction they will choose to stick with. I'll certainly be there, but it won't be with high hopes. As always, that's just me. What about you guys? Hopes or despair? Excited or humdrum? Share your thoughts down below. Stay tuned for our 7.3 review after the patch drops. If you're looking for something new, we have more Devil May Cry content recently dropped. Some of it negative, some of it more positive. Also, the script for our Endwalker finale is nearing completion. The video should be out in the next couple of weeks. Anyways, I'm tired, pissed off, and need a nap. I'ma go do that. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then.